Dana, and today I'm going to talk about my experience of scheduling sex twice a week for 4 weeks in a row. A couple years ago, I wrote a book about sex and marriage after kids, and in it, I encourage couples to schedule intimacy at least twice a week. Because after having babies myself, I noticed that I was not exactly overcome with spontaneous lust and desire for sex. Like many moms, I was just tired and preoccupied and overwhelmed, and I felt like my libido had gone into hiding for years. But I also wasn't content to just watch our sex life go down the drain. And so I started planning sex. Literally, I started putting it in the calendar, writing it down amongst all the other things I wanted and needed to do each week as a busy working mom. Now, you might immediately think, oh, planning sex is so unromantic, or that writing it down makes it feel like a chore or an obligation. But for me, it is the exact opposite, because what I discovered is that when I plan for sex, sex becomes really, really amazing. That when I prepare myself for it by thinking about it and creating time and space to get in the mood for it, brainstorming what I want to wear, what positions or energies I want to explore, and also by communicating a lot with Charlie in advance, I find that we have super high quality sex. And I discovered that the added bonus of planning sex is that the more scheduled sex we have, the more spontaneous sex I wanted as well. So scheduling sex has really, really worked for us since having kids. But with the world going crazy in recent months, my husband and I fell into a little bit of a rut with our sex life. And then I realized we had stopped planning for intimacy. And so I decided to challenge myself and my husband to get back in the love game and to get sex back on the calendar twice a week for 4 weeks to bust out of our rut. And I took notes and I'm gonna share them with you. So here's how it went. Week 1. I mapped out a quickie in my calendar on Tuesday morning and a long love session for Saturday. Now, if you're wondering, I told my husband about both dates so that we could really build anticipation together. I even sent him calendar invites over email. He was very excited. We agreed we would let the kids have extra iPad time on Tuesday morning so we could have our quickie uninterrupted. And I organized for my mom to take the kids on Saturday so we could have privacy and really just take our time with each other. And while I don't usually love morning sex, Tuesday's AM quickie was really fun and playful and warm and loving, and it motivated me to put in more thought for Saturday's session, like what I wanted to wear, what toys I wanted to use, how I'd want the session to start with a massage to get me in the mood. And then Saturday's long love session was really awesome. We took our time, we really brought our creativity, and we both felt fully satisfied. So week 1 felt like a total success, and I was like, yeah, scheduling works. We are back on track. Week 2 was a little bit of a different story. So I had planned to go big with a fantasy session on Wednesday night where I wanted to try out some role play. And then I penciled in another quickie on Sunday just to keep it simple. But my cycle was arriving a little early and I was feeling bloated and achy and a little angry and not at all in the mood. So Wednesday's scheduled session turned into me eating a bag of Cheetos on the couch, which is fine because you've got to allow for flexibility when you're planning sex. And then Sunday's quickie turned into me giving my husband some pleasure as I still wasn't quite in the mood to receive. And that felt really good. So even though this week was a little bit light and a little bit different, we still had lots of open communication about our sex life and we both still felt satisfied. Week 3 rolled around and I felt ready to rumble again. I planned to connect on Wednesday night and I wanted to wear a cheeky costume. So I asked Charlie to put the kids to bed that night so I could go and unwind and relax and just transition into a more sensual state of being and also get myself into my little costume get up. And we had so much fun that night, just being really silly and sexy and playful. And for me, role play in costumes is not about being serious, just about bringing some variety and play and newness into the bedroom. Now, for our second session that week, we decided to have another morning quickie on Friday because we were hosting family over the weekend and we knew that wasn't gonna happen. So this week, I really started to remember that I actually like morning sex because after we had it those first few weeks, I found that I was in a really good mood for the rest of the day. So yay for that. For week 4, I wanted to sort of freestyle and bring back some spontaneity. So I only scheduled one session for a Thursday night where I knew I could send the kids to the neighbor's house to watch a movie for a little while. But beyond that, I asked Charlie to initiate sex once, and I also committed to initiating sex at least once that week. And because we were in a really good flow from the past few weeks of consistently making love, we actually wound up having sex 3 times this week, which I actually felt really proud of. So what was the end result of my little 4-week sex challenge? I felt like my libido was naturally lifted. I remembered that morning sex is a really great option. I felt closer to my husband. I felt like I had more vitality throughout the rest of my days. And I remembered that the more thought I put into our sex life, the better the sex is. And I felt really, really proud that we had committed to improving our relationship together. Now, I get it. You might think this whole practice feels kind of robotic or too organized for something that should just be natural, right? But once kids come into the picture, for so many women, sex isn't as natural to come by as it once was. And for us, planning sex, actually writing it in the calendar, makes it a priority. I mean, I write everything else down that's important to me. So why wouldn't I do the same thing for this very important and beautiful aspect of my life and relationship? Planning places real intention and attention on our intimate connection. It removes that pressure and rejection cycle that can arise when one partner wants sex more than the other. And it really encourages us to bring newness and variety and fun and flavor into our sex life instead of just repeating the same 1, 2, 3 pattern, every time we make love. So there you have it. That's what happened when I planned sex twice a week for 4 weeks straight. Yay! As always, I'm really curious to know what you think. Do you plan sex in your relationship? Do you think it would be helpful for you and your partner? Would your partner have objections to it? Let me know in the comments below, and let's get this conversation started.